what's going on, everybody? We'll get started in a couple minutes. Oh my god, I don't have my lights on. Wow, I didn't realize how dark I look. That's so funny. Hold on. One light. There we go. Got a nice shadow going on, and then the other light to even it out. There we go. Look at that. Beautiful. What's up, Atomic Bean? Congratulations on being first. I'm glad you enjoy the piano intros. Hello from the UK. Hello, hello. Welcome. Is this a channel about knitting? No, but there is threading involved. Multi-threading, you got it. Gonna have to start listening for the piano intro, but listen, I'm glad you're here. That's what we do at the beginning of the stream. Yo, Mocha Tech Plays, what's up? Thank you for the raid. Raiding with 4 people, that's awesome, dude. Hope you had a good stream. Hope you had a fun time. We're gonna be writing some code eventually. But for now, we are less than 5 minutes into my stream, so I'm welcoming people in with some nice piano. Are you really playing that? Someone asked in the YouTube chat. Cypher asked in the YouTube chat. Cypher, let me answer your question. I'd be down for a piano-only stream as much as a coding one. Hey, that's awesome to hear. Probably get started relatively soon. What do you guys think? What's up, Autonoma Nexus? What a wild name. Welcome, welcome. You play beautifully, my friend. Thank you so much. What a nice compliment. That is awesome. Let's do this. Sub Jack SSRT. How you doing? Welcome, welcome. I know I suck at piano. Been feeling this since day one. Good codes too, but damn, his piano session's real good. Yo, what a nice thing to say. That's awesome. What's up, Project Omega 4? How you doing? How's everyone doing tonight? We're gonna do some Rust tonight. And it's gonna be fun. That's my promise. We have to remember where we were. Here we are. So we have a server. We can cargo run the server. If you run cargo run, it will default run the server. And we read some cache events. We have 2 different tasks started, and we're listening on 3000. So if we go over here, we can curl localhost 3000, and we get nothing. We can curl /ping, we get this. We can curl /event, so we get all the events. We can curl event stream, and we get a live stream of all the events as they become available. A lot of things we can do here, but we also have a CLI we can run, which is events. And this has 2 subcommands. We can tail the events, and this gives us the last X events, and it actually works. It actually formats them nicely. Should probably take a -J flag now that I think about it. For JSON. And then we have create, I think. Yeah. Let's create a new one. Hello, stream. There we go. We created a new event. So now if we tail the events, we should at the bottom see hello, stream. There we go. Perfect. Beautiful. What's up, Gene 2 to Bean? What's up, Andrew? How you doing? I have a song request. I've always wanted to hear someone do a live performance of Piano Alley from Yume to... I have no idea what that is. I'll have to look that up because I have no idea what that is. Yo, what up, Random Logic? How you doing? Have a fuzzy lookup from the CLI with a single character? Oh, we're not even going to have any sort of lookup yet. That will come later once we have better persistence in place. But I like where your head is. Let's figure out what we have in the README because I have more to-dos here. I want to move code into cargo workspaces, which will allow separate client from server with shared library. I'm going to put a maybe here because maybe that doesn't make sense. Maybe it does. I haven't figured that out yet. So we'll see if that makes sense to do. I also want to rename some of the commands we have. Living the dream. It's awesome. It's awesome. Ever use Jenkins for personal or professional? I've definitely used it in professional contexts. It works sometimes. That's about it. That's all I know about it. All right. So we have some changes to make here because in our CLI code, we do some grossness. And one of the grossness we do here is event the level. We're debug formatting it because the level doesn't have any sort of display on it, so we have to add that. And we should also make this an enum. So we'll do that. We'll do all of this stuff. And the way we're going to do that is with a value enum, because this is something I had to look up in clap, but there is something in clap called a value enum, and this will allow us to inspect its own name, and this gives us a lot of stuff. So we can have a default value T, and we can implement display very easily with it. So this is going to be super fun to figure out. Oh, guys, that's the toilet right on cue. I haven't fixed that yet. All right. So we have our event level here. We can derive value enum on it, which comes from clap. And that gives us something really, really cool here. Just like we have Saturday here, I think we have... Oh, I don't remember off the top of my head. I think we have clap. This might be value. Might be this. But I think we have clap, rename all lowercase, and this should also work. So let's make sure this compiles first. There we go. Now we can implement display on this, which I think will be super useful. So I have to remember how to do that. Rust impl display. It should be pretty easy. Morning, Dave. How you doing? Yo, I'm doing pretty well. How you doing over there, man? All right, we got a lot of nonsense here, but here's how you would implement display. We just need to impl format display for whatever we want, and then this, and it returns a result. So there's a whole lot of garbage here, but we can pull this in. Should be simple enough. There we go. So we got format display. Now, we're actually going to return something very, very interesting here because we don't need to hard code these values, which is crazy. We're going to use some trickery using clap because clap kind of supports this for us. So clap has this value enum. Because we've derived it, we have two possible values on it, like this function, which will return an option of a possible value. And this should always work because we know our enum is good. So we should be able to do this, get something back, and then call like toString on it, I think. Get name right here. So look at this. You can see there's actually an example of it in get derive. So they do exactly what we're going to do. They implement display for this, and it returns a result, and they just call this. And that just works. That just absolutely works. So we're just going to copy that code and use it because it works. There we go. And that's it. That's how we implement display to automatically display the enum for us. Watching you from Morocco. It's 2:17 a.m. Oh, man. I subscribed last week following the Bash course. Yo, dude. Glad you are watching the Bash course. That's super cool. 2 a.m. is pretty late, so go to sleep, man. Don't let me keep you awake. But, yeah, that's wild. It's 4 a.m. for you? Dude, that's even more wild. You guys are nuts, man. Oh, shouldn't just call it structure. It's called event level. There we go. So now we have that, which is beautiful because when it comes time to stringify the event, we can do less work, which is really cool, actually. Yeah, so right here, to do, not this LOL. We can get rid of that, and we can just change this to event.level because that implements display. So that's huge. Oh, but we have to actually convert it to a string. Yeah, that's right. We have to explicitly call toString here. There we go. And then in our CLI, we can do the same thing, where we have level. There we go. Beautiful. Beautiful. That's amazing. That's perfect. Now we can do something even crazier because we support that. We can change this to event level. We'll get rid of this whole thing eventually. And this can also be an event level. And the default value T here, because it's a type, will be event level info. We should have to make sure we pull in event level. There we go. So now we've gotten rid of some duplicated code. We've gotten rid of a whole bunch of mess there. There's still more we can do to clean things up, but that's really cool. Yeah, that 4 a.m. guy is nuts on me. I'll go to sleep in a couple minutes. Just wanted to see you live. Well, hey, welcome. I'm glad you're here. I'm doing my dinner while I see you here in Argentina. Thank you for your stream. I'm learning Rust. It's very useful. Hey, that's awesome. That's awesome. Any chance you'll create a full course on networking? No plans on that currently. All right, so let's clean this up. We have in our main, we have the payload, the create event payload. Let's pull that out of main and put that into lib. And there we go. Do we? Yeah, this is fine. This is how we create a new event. So we do need to be able to deserialize, but we also need to be able to serialize it because we're going to use this data to send it forward and back. So serialize, deserialize, and debug. Okay. JSON value, we should pull that in. Oh, we do have that. Perfect. So now that we have that, we can go to source main and we can get rid of the payload, which you've already done. Let's make sure this compiles. And let's go ahead and make that public. Perfect. So we don't need to serialize, and we don't need the event level, because I guess we're not using that anywhere. Makes sense. It's all kind of embedded. There we go. Now let's update our CLI to use that instead. So instead of using the create event payload here, we'll just pull that in from here. And let's check where we're actually using it, because I think, yeah, we're sending the level here, but that should work because level is now an enum directly. So this should just work. Missing data. Oh, that makes sense. We have to actually explicitly say data none. Can we do this? What is the syntax for this? Is it like this? It's something really awful. I always forget the syntax, but it's something like this. Hi Dave, hi chat. Yo, what's up, Joaquin? How you doing? The trait default is not implemented for that. Okay. Oh, it is just an option of a JSON value. Oh, okay. Yeah. Let's just do that. There we go. Cool. So now if we run this, that works. Beautiful. Now we should be able to create an event. So let's do, I'll just do like, hello, and then we could, what, give it the current date time, the Unix date stamp. There we go. And now we can run that with a tail. There we go. So that works. That works just fine. There are a couple changes I want to make here. I don't want to call it... Let's take a look at this. We have the ID, we have the created timestamp, we have the component, the level, the message, the data. I don't like the word component. I think I want to make that source. And I also want to add a new field. I want to add a hostname field. So that's what I want to do. I don't know if hostname would be required. I think it probably should be. Events should come from a host. So let's go ahead and make hostname required. Clearly Day8 is AI because no one codes manually anymore. Hey, welcome, Silence One. What a good chat. Yeah, I code manually. I code manually, and people watch me code manually for some reason. Now, not a ton of people watch me code manually on Twitch. Would I have like 1,000 followers? But over 100,000 people watch me code manually on YouTube, and yeah, people like it, which is crazy. So I must be, you're right, I must be AI. This must be fake. Or maybe service. Yeah, service also works too. I do worry that this makes it too service orchestrated because there may not necessarily be a service or a component. Like if you look up here, we have component, which is like Nginx or Nagios. We could easily just change that to service, and then it's the exact same thing. But I think source is more generic. I wouldn't mind if the source was Nginx or the source was Nagios, but the source could also be like XYZ. So I think I'm going to go with source for now. And then we'll see if we like that. I love watching you code manually. Yo, respect. Appreciate it. Host name of message of event origination. There we go. Now this might just break. Yeah. Let's go ahead and change everywhere we're using component to be source. Unknown field for payload.source. Okay. Yeah, because the create event payload should take source then, and then we should also take the host name. I just realized the program will break if the original cache file is empty. It's not a... We'll have to fix that. Okay. And this will also have to take the host name field. So when we create, I also do want to change create. I want that to be emit probably, but let's get there when we get there. Host is interesting because it won't have a quote unquote defaults. Yeah, I think that makes sense. Yeah, it won't have a default value per se because the default will have to be determined at runtime. So it'll be an option of a string, and then we will use the get hostname call to actually pull it if it makes sense. Missing hostname. Yeah, that makes sense. Why it would break if cache is empty. Not if cache is empty, but if the file doesn't exist. That's why it would break. Here we go. Take hostname from you. I'll explain that in a second. Take hostname from user or grab it from the system if... No, let's just do this. Get hostname of system if not provided by the user. So we'll do let hostname equals command.hostname. We'll match on it because it'll either be some or none. And if it's some, then we'll just return that. If it's none, then we will have to get system hostname. Now, we'll have to look up a crate to do that, I think. Because the call we want is get hostname, like the libc call, but there's got to be a wrapper. There's a wrapper. Yeah, I figured it'd be this easy. Literally just the exact same name. Get hostname on all platforms. Use get hostname. You call the function, and that's it. That's awesome. Can this break? I don't even see it returning a possible error. Like, this literally just returns an OS string. So I guess we'd have to convert it into a string But that's about it. That's not really the end of the world there. So that's easy. Yeah, that's not a big deal. We can just kind of convert it and make sure it works. You are more faster in Vim than I am at VS Code. Listen, I love Vim. I've been using it for almost 20 years now. Yeah, so we would just do this, and I'll just put a to-do here. I'll let that run. Martin says, what's your opinion about LLMs? I have a bunch of videos on my YouTube channel. So I know you're talking on Twitch, but I have a YouTube channel called You Suck at Programming, and I have a couple different videos where I talk about LLMs and AI and my thoughts on them. So I have a lot of thoughts there, but let's see what your actual question is. I'm a master student developer. What is a master student developer? I don't know what a master student developer, like a master degree. It's a typo. Okay, so master's degree. Okay, master's. Gotcha. Yeah, sorry, just because master is one of those terms that gets conflated with, studies, like I'm going for my master's, but also like if someone were like in a field, they'd be like, I'm a master of this, I'm a master of that. So I was like trying to figure out like, this dude's like a legit student developer. This is like senior director student developer. Like that's kind of how I interpret it first. I used to admire people who could code at a very high level, but lately I've been feeling tired and exhausted by all the AI related topics and by how many companies now expect mid-level developers to know AI as well. I mean, my real fleshed out thoughts are on my YouTube channel. Like I said, my channel is You Suck at Programming. It should be linked on Twitch, and I have videos there where I talk about, will you be left behind if you don't use LLMs? I mean, I haven't talked about it specifically like in a video, but I'll just tell you right now, like, dude, I'm burned out and tired by all that crap too. It annoys me. I'm sick of it. I understand that's how things are going. I don't think we're putting the, I don't think we're putting the genie back in the bottle type of thing. So I think in many ways AI is going to be here to stay. Now, will it be economically viable once it stops being subsidized as heavily? I don't know. But we do have lightweight models that run on your local devices. So like, yeah, I think it's going to be around to stay. I find it tiring. I don't care much for it. But I recently quit my tech job to take some time off just because I was getting burned out. Not from AI specifically, but that definitely played a role into it. So like I have nuanced thoughts on it, but at the same, like, but the short of it is like, oh, I'm burned out on it too, man. I feel that. Yo, Daddy YSAP, bro. What a message. Daddy YSAP. I love you so much, YSAP. Getting rusty. That's right. That's right, Inkwalk. We are. Every single development stream asks about AI, and you've yet to see the same response twice. Now, Cypher, are you talking about from me, or are you talking about from other creators? Because I'm curious. Because my response is pretty much going to be similar, but how passionate I am about it kind of depends on how I'm feeling that day. Yeah, I'm starting CS in college next year, and AI seems really overwhelming. It is. It's game changing. It's going to change a lot of things. Like, it really is. I'm not going to sugarcoat it for you, man. Like, that's the truth, and you're weary of it. And wary of it? You're wary of it. Weary would be tired. You're wary of it. And you're right to be, man. It's gonna be weird. Things are gonna be super weird. I don't know what the future looks like. The only thing I can tell you is a lot of computer science, like the fundamentals, I believe are still gonna be important, and they're a lot of fun. Like, I just think computer science is a ton of fun. So hopefully you don't get too turned off by it. Daddy YSAP, dude, I know, man. I mean, the question comes up on every tech channel I follow. Yeah, dude. No, for real. That's why I make videos talking about LLMs. Like, just because I get the questions so much. Here's the funny thing, analytics-wise, just so you guys know this on my YouTube. When I yap about LLMs, I pull in a wide audience. I get a lot of views. My analytics look amazing, and they do not turn into subscribers. So the people watching me yap about LLMs, they're interested in the content. That's a good thing, don't get me wrong, but they don't become the people that are in this chat right now. So like, I'll make those videos to try and pull in new people, but they're not converting. If it was marketing, I'd be like, okay, this marketing, like this. If it was a marketing thing, I'd be like, okay, it was successful in getting eyes on it, but we didn't convert, needed a paying customer. So yeah, it's interesting. I'm starting to hit my gray beard years. AI is fun and exciting as much as it is bothersome. We're just in the push too hard stage right now. Dude, we are in the, like, yes, I agree with you. Off the record, We are in the Web 3.0 NFT crypto Bitcoin DevOps. I'm just going backwards through all of the hype trains. This is just the latest hype train. Is it genuinely cool software that'll have some changes on our like development and our industry? Yeah, absolutely. But it is so hype right now, dude. It's hard to see the signal through the noise. It really is. Oh man. I'll learn using Vim as soon as possible. It's so relaxing, no distractions, seems comfortable. I like it. I find it super comfortable. I love using it. When do you call yourself a programmer? When you yeah, bread shaped toast, got it. Bread shaped toast. Brother, what a name. Yeah, when you program, I don't know. When do you call yourself a skateboarder? I don't know. Don't worry too much about it. Just do things and worry about the label second. Like, I don't know, label should be descriptive, not prescriptive, so just do things. Oh, man. They won't even respect a robot.txt mostly. AI is just kind of... I can go look through my Apache logs. Wow, I'm showing my age here. I can go look through my access logs using the Apache common log format and see that the AIs are just like scraping my websites and stuff. Yeah, I wouldn't worry too much about when you call yourself a programmer. Just do something and eventually you just are that thing. You look back and you realize, I don't know when it happened, but who cares? I'm here now. What was your largest, most lines of code personal project? I don't know. It would either be a visualizer program or my SSHP software. I truly don't know. Do I even have it on this machine? It's 1,000 lines of C. 1989? Okay. About 2,000 lines of C? No, okay, hold on. That's for, because you're asking for a personal project. This would be probably 2,000, 3,000 lines for a personal project. Because I did do a project before this, but I was like, I made a really big project in Python 20 years ago, but I was like just learning that stuff. So like, I think it was like 4,000, 5,000 lines of code, but it's that many lines of code because I was really bad. Like now I can make things shorter because I'm better at programming. If it's a professional project, there are some really big programs I've worked on. And when I say professional, I mean just like my job was paying me. All right. What were we doing over here? We have a host name. All right. Let's add a semicolon first so we don't lose that. And then let's go change this to just use the host name. Nice. And we have that to do there. That's great. So let's go ahead and pull this up here. And this should call get host name. Now the problem is I believe this returns an OS string and we're going to want an actual string there. So we may have to do some conversion from an OS string. I think there's a lot of ways to do this conversion. I think you can just do this like to string. Does this return a result? It doesn't even have toString. Let's go look at what an OS string is. Let's be good. Because I'm pretty sure OS string is just like basically a vec of bytes. Into string. There we go. This gives you a result, and then it gives you the OS string. Okay. We can do this. We can do into, and then we can have a default. So we could do this. Into string, unwrap, or unknown. No, let's give an error. Let's give an error. I like giving an error actually better here. Yeah. Yeah, I like this better. Not found in result. Do I have to pull in context? Oh, it's going to be a different type of result, isn't it? I've ran into this issue before. This is super annoying. I think I retired at the right time, helped set up infrastructure to use support on-prem machine learning and LLMs, but that's about it. Yeah, I'm low-key retired right now, meaning I quit my job and now I'm focusing on content. Ideally, I'd never have to go back in the industry because I don't know how things are going to happen then. But no, I don't actually mean that. I think the industry's fine. Like it, I have a lot of thoughts on this. I think the industry is more resilient than people realize, but it is going to change. I think that's what I want to say on that. Daddy YSAP. God, you guys are the worst. What's your opinion on leak code? I've heard almost nothing but bad things about it, but I found it a great source of problems and great learning about DSA stuff. Here's what I will tell you. I think I missed the boat on leak code. And all I mean by that, I don't mean that I can't go do it now. What I mean by that is literally like I was working and stuff when leak code started to become popular. So like I never cared about it. I wasn't in school like, oh my God, I have to learn leak code in order to get a job. That wasn't a thing. I already had a job and stuff and people started talking about leak code. So I've never spent any time with it. I've never done a single leak code problem in my life. And I don't have a LinkedIn. And right now, I believe that there is some sort of greatness that awaits me in the afterlife because I have chosen not to ever do a leak code problem and not to ever be on LinkedIn. Real answer, I don't know, man. People grind leak code as though that's a substitute for learning programming. It's not. Are there companies doing leak code interviews? Yes, there are. And I don't like that, but they are. So like, if you enjoy programming, go do those things for fun. If you think you're going to learn how to program by doing leak code challenges, you're probably not. That's kind of how I feel about them. But yes, I believe that there is some eternal blessing waiting for me for having rejected leak code. What's up, Internet Pimp? How you doing? Pizza Hut profile picture. All right. Yeah, it's cringe for interview prep. I meant simply as a source of fun problems. See that I would consider. I've just never tried it, but I'm sure like it'd be fun. I love challenges. I love programming puzzles, kind of stuff like that. Love that error handling, popping in for some background listening, but I feel you on that rejection of the grind without soul. Yo, welcome. And I want to say this right now. If you are watching me right now, I have 34 viewers on Twitch, which is amazing. Thank you so much, everyone. And I have 58 viewers on YouTube. If you're watching, I'm not going to ask you to do anything. I'm really not. If you're watching and you're just lurking, I see you. You guys are awesome. I appreciate it. Sometimes I ask you guys to say hi in the chat. If you want to go say hi to me in the chat and you're lurking, please do that. I love it. I think it's great, but you don't even have to. You're watching TV, you're driving in a car, you're sitting on like a train or whatever, coming home from work or whatever, and you're just chilling. Dude, that's awesome, man. Welcome, welcome. So I love the lurkers. I think you guys are great. People that tune in just for the background stuff. Oh, yeah. Lurking and listening. Nice, nice. Yeah, people think solving hard calculus problems or textbook geometry proofs means you're a master, and that's simply wrong. Yeah, exactly. Now, if it's a source of fun, yo, I can totally understand that. I get that. Like, that's a legitimately good reason to do something. So, that's awesome. Love your bash shell script and stuff. Dude, appreciate it. Thank you, thank you. How you know I'm working and have you in the background. You can read minds now. Because I've asked the lurkers what you guys are doing, and sometimes you guys will actually take a break from what you're doing and tell me, so I think that's pretty cool. Lurking since 100K on YouTube. Congrats and keep up the great content. Thank you, Jonathan. Appreciate it. And you know what? I've been watching You Suck at Programming since before I was 100K, okay? So I'm a real fan. I was watching me when I had 0K, and I just created a YouTube channel. I don't know. That's stupid. Just ignore that. Initially, I was lurking while I was updating some of my home VNs. Hey, that's cool. That's cool stuff. All right, what were we doing here? I already forgot what I was doing. Get so distracted. Oh, the error handling. Is this like, I've run into this issue before, where this is like not the normal type of result that gets like the blanket implementation of like context around it, I believe. So it doesn't actually convert the way you want it to. And I don't know why that is. I have yet to figure that out, because I could just do an expect here, right? And this will work. It'll complain that context was pulled in. Yeah. I do not know why that is. But I don't care. Expect is fine here. If you don't have a working host name and you don't give me a host name, dude, I'm just going to throw an error. You got to give me a custom host name. I'm not assuming one. Studio.local? Okay, that's fair. Coding challenges are good when your field involves reverse engineering or forensics. Now that I understand. Yes, that makes sense. I like that you're showing relevant codes and super useful. Thanks. Yo, appreciate it. What a nice comment. I think you need the semicolon. Not on that line I was on specifically. Where I called get hostname. This line right here. I don't need the semicolon there. In fact, the semicolon will yell at me. This is a implicit return in Rust. So I'm actually, well, it's not really a return. I'm not returning from a function, but this will return that to this variable name up here. If I put the semicolon here, this will actually yell at me and it will try to return, like you'll see an open close paren, I think. It'll yell at me the type mismatch. Yeah. Help, consider removing the semicolon. Expected string found open and closed paren. So I found like this like null type. So you actually don't want that semicolon there. It's super weird, but luckily Rust's compiler has like the best error messages I've ever seen for a compiler ever. So I think the pendulum has swung too far in the direction of no premature optimization equals never optimize. Yeah, people push off optimization till the last step, and that's great, but if you never actually do those last steps, like, is this technically a closure? I think this is just a grouping of commands. I don't want to use nomenclature incorrectly here because I'm like showing you guys this. I don't know if this is technically a closure. This is like a grouping of commands. I don't know the names for this stuff though. So I don't have the right names for it. Oh, we got to get out that localhost thing. We shouldn't be just copying and pasting that everywhere. Missing field host name. Hey, okay, right. So here's what's going to happen here. Because our events JSON file, our cache is old, we're going to have some issues here. So let's go ahead. Well, we can actually just overwrite the cache. Let's deal with this first. Let's RM the cache file. Let's run the program. And now it fails because the cache is not there. What we should do is we should touch that file first just to make sure it exists. If we try to load the cache and the cache isn't there, we shouldn't require you to do anything really. So is there like a create file? If Rust has a way just to simply touch a file or create a file, it probably does, right? Oh, I'm not sharing this. Yeah, so we have the FS module here. Where... I'm trying to think. There's got to be a simple way to just create a file if it doesn't exist, right? We have this file type. There we go. We can do this. I guess we could just do that. What is happening in the chat, guys? Ew, imagine to write Rust. Imagine to write with Rust. This is why your ass is rusting. C greater than Rust. You are a C cheater. Ew. Ew. C greater than Rust. Ew. Imagine. Lane, calm down. If you keep this up, I'm kicking you from the chat. I'm not dealing with this. It's reassuring to see someone having to read the docs. Yeah, listen, dude, I'm a big fan of the docs, man. You need to use C. Lane, I write C on this channel. I write Rust. I write Bash. I write whatever language I feel like writing. If you're going to come at me and tell me I need to use a specific language, just leave. Just leave. All right. If we... What does file.create do? Like, what does this do? Basically, I just want to touch a file. What is this? Opens a file in write-only mode. This function will create a file if it doesn't exist, and will truncate it if it does. That is not what we want. Do we have to use open options here? Yeah, Lane, you got to calm down. You're being a little bit ridiculous for the stream, all right? I don't mind if you want to hang out and have fun, but we're not targeting other users in the comment section here. That's not how it works. We're not attacking people in chat. We're not doing that here. You're good. You're good. I love having new people jump in. I appreciate you jumping into the chat, but we're hanging out, and whatever language people want to use, totally fine here. I don't have a problem with it. I'm sorry, this is a really funny comment. I know you guys are having a conversation in the Twitch chat, but in all my years as a dev, I have never seen someone pick the right tools. LOL. They 100% pick the tools they're familiar with. Now, let me tell you, though, I want to say this. If you think the tool that's right for the job is like the one that's objectively right, but then there's the tool you know how to use, like there's a rule, like when you're talking about self-defense or like home defense, I was going to talk, I don't know, YouTube's TOS or Twitch TOS. I was going to talk about the things we use in America for our Second Amendment rights. So let's not even get into that. But sometimes the best tool for the job is the tool you have. Sometimes the best tool for the job is the tool you know. So sometimes there can be overlap there, but like in an objective sense, sometimes you're not going to use the best tool. You're going to use the one that you're most comfortable with, the one that you're trained with, the one that you're comfortable and familiar with. So got to come up with better examples that are more stream friendly. Oh, yeah. This is a rare moment where he isn't gambling. I did that earlier today. I had to go get my free gift. I guess really what I want is to open a file for reading, but not care if there's anything already in. I'm trying to be perfect about this and atomic, and I don't know. We'll figure it out. We'll figure it out. Let's go ahead and let myself get distracted even more. Yo, what's up? Neoravit? Let me know if I'm pronouncing your name right. Thank you for the $4.99 super chat on YouTube, dude. Appreciate it. Keep spreading wisdom, King. Dude, love it. What a great comment. Love it. Yo, appreciate the super chat. That's super cool. That's super cool. The fact that Daddy Wisap's go-to analogy. This is the thing, man. Listen, I'm going to be real with you guys because you're watching me on stream. If you're watching me on stream, you are super fans. Like, that's just the truth. So, like, a lot of people know me from short form. A lot of people know me from long form. And don't get me wrong, like, what you see is what you get. What you see there is who I am. But, like, our friend Internet Pimp said, this is a rare moment where he isn't talking about gambling. Yeah, if you get me talking about the stuff that comes to my head first, we're going to be talking about playing slots. We're going to be talking about gambling. We're going to be talking about some home defense stuff. Listen, I contain multitudes. I just try to keep it within the bounds of what's allowed to be discussed on YouTube and Twitch and stuff. Andrew says sometimes the best tool is the one you know, but in programming, understanding how to program, how to solve problems, it helps you realize the language or tools that are secondary to programming. Yes, absolutely, 1000% yes. Programming is the thing that ascends. It's the thing above the languages. Every language is a tool to let you get closer to like programming, the platonic form of programming, but like programming is like this generalized concept. Now, can it actually exist like that, or does it always exist through its implementations? That's a deeper philosophical issue, but that's a fun discussion. So, yeah, I think I want the open option struck. That's what I think I want. But I have to, once I'm done distracting myself with chat, then I'll actually lock in and try to figure out what am I actually trying to solve here. And you know what? Maybe philosophy, which I'm interested to hear something about. It seems like a lot of people do like the philosophical stuff. Like, I've been posting more yapping content on my main channel, so I might keep that up because it seems like people really enjoy that. I remember the times when Prime used to program. You were my only hope to actually watch some coding. And TJ. I don't know who TJ is, if they're like another content creator, but yo, that's awesome, man. I love coding. I think it's a ton of fun. You pronounce it correctly. It's like rabbit with a V, so you Gucci. Nice. Beautiful. What about Zig? I'll tell you what I tell everyone. Just never used it. Seems cool. Never used it. Like, no hate or no love. I've just never used it. That's just it. My wife's an elementary math teacher. I maintain if she in the last weeks of the year taught them probability with cards, they would arguably be more worthwhile to them than most of the year, and that's something else. Dude, honestly, man, yes. And this is crazy, but like just probability and statistics and stuff, people need to understand this. Like, it's human beings are so bad at dealing with large numbers. If you could understand probability and statistics, you could understand like randomness and uniform distribution, how randomness speaks towards the source of what you're doing. So you can have like a random source, and then you can have a distribution, a uniform distribution, maybe like one will only show up once. How random can create uniform, but you're talking about input versus output. How random doesn't necessarily have to look uniform. In fact, if something looks too uniform, it doesn't look random anymore. These kind of things are huge. Talk about shuffling a deck of cards, and you have, what is it, like 52 factorial or something, like combination, like the amount of shuffles like in a deck like have never been seen before. Every time you shuffle a deck of cards, it's a brand new shuffle, basically. That's amazing. That's how someone can understand like how UUIDs won't ever collide, asterisk next to that. But like, yes, like, dude, there's so much there. A deck of cards is huge. Human brains were not meant to understand that, because like I talked about a different stream. Like, ask a human to go to a notepad and write down what they think flipping a coin 10 times will look like. They'll be like, oh, heads, tails, heads, heads, tails, heads, tails, heads. It's like, dude, no, go flip an actual coin and go flip it 100 times and just pick a random selection of 10 in a row. You'll get like heads, 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 heads. You'll have an absolute streak that will destroy 99% of people gambling on it, okay? Like, the streaks that you can see are ridiculous because a new event does not rely on the event that came before. When you talk about statistics of probability, now we have to start factoring in a timescale. But when there isn't a timescale on a single event, it's always 50-50. Like that, people really need to bang that into their head, because it'll save you money. Plus reasoning, deduction, paying attention to other players. Yes, there's so much stuff there. There's so much stuff there. Yeah, you suck at philosophy. I know people want it. People want it. Chris L. Baker, did you see my last comment? Dude, I have no idea. Probably not. Feel free to just comment it again. That's fine. Some people use Vim and Emacs. It's okay. Well, I don't know. If you're using both, I got to draw the line somewhere. No, I'm kidding. Can you imagine someone using 4-space tabs and hard tabs in the same code file? Because I've seen it. Yeah, streaks don't exist. Every flip is its own event. Yes, yes. Exactly. Streaks only happen when you look back. Streaks can only happen when you look back. And when you see a streak of like 5 heads in a row, you're like, what are the odds of that happening? It's like, dude, that could have been, what are the odds of heads, tails, heads, tails happening? That is just as likely as 5 heads in a row. Human beings ascribe special meaning to 5 heads in a row, but the probability of that happening is the same as the probability of any other combination of them happening. The streak only happens because you look backwards and apply a timescale to it. Going forward, when you're like, you know, doing like, oh, I'm going to beat the system with a martingale. No, every single one is an independent event. You're back at 50-50. Like, it's such a good thing. Like, it's so hard to understand for some people, myself included. Just the human brain really wants to find patterns and reasoning and stuff. The concept of probability of isolated events versus a sequence. Yeah, yes, exactly. And it's so deceptively simple because it's actually very complex, but when you just look at it, you think it's simple. And that's one of the most dangerous things, when something is actually complex, but when you look at it, you're like, oh, I can understand this. It's like, no, you understand like 90% of it. That last 10% will cost you all the money in your wallet. Like you need to learn more about it. Oh man. I'm on streak 2 watching the stream. Dude, nice. All right. Whew. I think playing video games with drop rates is a 2-meter probability, somewhat like the probability of success if you do something with a 1 in 100 chance to... Oh my... Yes. Dude, it's so funny when people see like, oh, there's like a 1 in 100% chance of like this happening or something, and they're dealing with like this happens where it's like, this only affects like 2% of users. It's like, bro, you have 50 million users. Do you know what 2% of that is? Like, do you know what that actually is? That's 4 million. Like, wait, is 2% of 50? No, that's 1 million. I almost got there. That's like, either way, 1 million, 4 million are still within the same, what's the word I'm looking for? Order of magnitude. Either way, it's still a lot. It's still a lot. 2% of 50 million is a lot. Like, so when people like go to percentages, they're like, oh, it's like 1%. That's like nothing. It is like nothing. Like. But the times it isn't, oh boy. Explain the details of entropy and the human imposed meaning on patterns that have no inherent meaning. Exactly. If I'm trying to crack a pin code and like the pin code's randomly generated 0 through 9, 4 digits, and it's like, oh my God, the pin code was 4, 5, 6, 7. What are the odds? Like, there's nothing special about that. There's nothing. The odds of 4, 5, 6, 7 were the same as the odds of 9, 0, 2, 4. Like, they're the same odds. They're not, it's not special. You've just ascribed special meaning to it. All right. We're back on track, boys. Back on track. We're done talking about statistics, probability, and gambling. All right. So what do we want to do here? We want to open the file and read the cached events. But if the file doesn't exist... Oh yeah, no, we're overcomplicating this. We are absolutely overcomplicating this. We'll just try to open the file. If the file does not exist, we'll just default it to an empty array. And then eventually, the cache will be cached out. It will be serialized to disk, and then we'll have the new cache there. That's it. That's super duper easy, actually. So we just need to take this and put it into a function. Yes. Let me think about this. We might need a function here to initialize cache, but yeah. Yeah, let's do this. This will get the file. Say stir, and it will return a vec dec. Well, we do want to know if the file fails to parse. We have to really think about this. If the file fails to parse, that's a problem. But if the file just doesn't exist, who cares? Oh, I'm overcomplicating this like crazy. Really what I want is I want to check for no entry on read. That's what I really want. If that fails, then we can just assume it's an empty cache and that's fine. But if any other part, if we get access or we fail to parse the data as JSON, then we actually care about it. So we should do that. Without a doubt, one of the most logical thinking programmers I follow. I've been a software engineer for 25 years. I would take Dave over Prime any day. Take that, Prime. No. I'm not here to talk down on other content creators. I have no interest in doing that, but I appreciate you saying that. I do my best to try and be as logical as I possibly can. Don't get me wrong, there's a lot of vibes in what I do. Sometimes I just sit here and wait for divine intervention, but my divine intervention when it comes to programming is just decades of experience speaking to me subconsciously through ways that I don't fully understand yet. So yeah, dude, it's I try to think as logically about the stuff as I possibly can. DNet and init. I don't want to overcomplicate things here a little bit, but I say that and then I start overcomplicating things. So yeah. Is it a good idea to use an LLM when you don't know a concept, or is that my fault? I also struggle with perfectionism, which stops me from finishing projects. Any tips to overcome this? Whoa, brother. I'm going to slow down and read what you've said here. Is it a good idea to use an LLM when you don't know a concept, or is that my fault? What is your fault here? That you don't know a concept? There's nothing wrong without knowing something. Because you've mentioned perfectionism, it sounds like you're beating yourself up for not knowing something. There is absolutely nothing wrong with ignorance. It's just on you to go figure out how to do it. So if you have to go read some documentation, understand something, or ask something for help, that's fine. If you want to ask an LLM for help, I have a whole video where I talk about should you use AI and LLMs for learning. Feel free to watch it if you want my extended thoughts on it. But basically, like, you can, but do that with a grain of salt. I would probably reach for other resources first. But that's not a fault. And if you're asking, is it your fault to ask an LLM? I don't. That's an interesting philosophical question. That's more like about your value system than anything I can help you with. But it's not your fault to not know something, dude. Ignorance is just the default state. There's nothing wrong with the default state. Like, you struggle with perfectionism, like, whoa, brother. Even the way you word this, you struggle with perfectionism. Like, perfectionism is something to even be good at, and you're also falling short of being perfect at perfectionism. Your language is so colored with issues here. I don't mean to pick on you. I'm just trying to say, look at the way you reread this sentence, and there's a lot going on here. Like, you don't... Which stops me from finishing projects. Here are my tips. You asked me for tips to overcome this. Change your perspective. I think this will help you first and foremost. Is it a good idea to use LLMs when you don't know a concept? I don't know. LLMs can be a great teacher, but they can also give you a lot of bad information. So ask them a question, but ascribe a little bit of, take what they say with a grain of salt. Be skeptical of what they say. Is it that my fault? It's not your fault if you're ignorant. Ignorance is the default state. It's your fault if you stay ignorant willingly, but don't worry about that. You're seeking knowledge. You're asking for help. That's a great thing. You struggle with perfectionism. Nope. Kill that line of thinking. You might have perfectionist tendencies, but you don't struggle with it and you don't excel at them, okay? You're just describing how you are. Maybe you like to be a perfectionist, and that's it. That's how I would change my mindset around that. So that would be my thing, is to just focus on your mindset first. Be like, oh, I want to learn something and I have to go use all my resources, and LLM might be one of my resources. That's how I'd approach it. Those are my thoughts on it. Divine intervention is an important part of the process. Dude, I unironically agree with that. Yes. All right. Let's see what we got going on here. Okay. I'm missing some stuff on Twitch chat. Let me hop over here real quick. What is this for? This is a cool little program I'm writing just for my own home server. So like a bunch of different disparate sources can emit events and we can coalesce them all into one place. The more I learn, the more I uncover that I don't know. Listen, if that isn't the truest thing I've ever heard. Yeah. Maybe this has been said already, but on the topic of LLMs, what do you think about people who vibe code? I don't think about them. I don't think about people who vibe code. Like I don't like I don't know. Before vibe coding, people were copying and pasting stuff off Stack Overflow. Before that, we had script kiddies, people that were writing scripts but had no idea what they were doing. Before that, or probably around the same time, we had people firing up Metasploit and just like running something they didn't understand to try and own a system. Like this has always sort of existed. I think people are gonna do what they're gonna do, but I don't care. It's not something I'm really interested in. If you want a cool clip to put on the internet, I don't really have even a value judgment to ascribe here. I just hope that some of the people who are vibe coding eventually realize that coding can be a lot of fun and the process of debugging can be a lot of fun, and maybe they'll come over and start writing code like I do because I think it's a ton of fun. And I welcome anyone who wants to learn. So if vibe coding can be a gateway for people to start coding, yeah, I think it's awesome. But really, I just don't think about it that much. I have my own little core to the internet where we write code, so I kind of just think about it that way. Have you read The Grug Brain Developer? Nope, never heard of it. Don't know what that is. I use Metasploit for CTFs, and I once had to update it, and it took me down a rabbit hole. Yeah, Lapis. My buddy was big into, well, I mean, he still is big into security and stuff, so I know it's a rabbit hole. Thank you. Awesome answer. I have the same thoughts. Great way to answer it. Yo, appreciate it. Yeah, I should probably make a video where I talk about that, but I don't really know a nice way to approach it without sounding like I'm trying to like clickbait. So, yeah. I think debugging is a pretty important skill you will miss if you just vibe code. I agree with that 100%. Yeah. Raise his hand. I was absolutely guilty of cut and pasting JavaScripts. Yeah, to get things to happen in the 90s when I was barely two digits. Dude, I understand that, man. 100%, man. I'd go look up these little like JavaScript things and I'd be like, oh my God, there's like a trail behind my mouse on this website. Oh, cool. I had no idea how any of it worked. Now, if I look back, it's probably like the worst code, but like still, it's just really funny. All right. We're getting super distracted here. I want to finish this up so we can move on from it. We are going to try and read the config file. If we fail to read it to a string, we should, I want to know exactly what error message it is. Here's what we should do. Let's do this. Let's do this. Let's figure out exactly what kind of error it is. If it's the data, then we return the data. Otherwise, if it's an E, you can do something like this, right? Ah, you can. Yeah, let me do this. Let me look up. Here's what we're gonna do. We can figure this out. We're smart people. Read to string. It returns a result of a string. What kind of error does it return? Can we check the error? Because we're going to need the error kind to see if it's like, yeah, we're going to need the error kind to see if it's no entry, because that's all we really care about. I know there's an easy way to do this. Yeah, there's an easier way to do this. Rust has come a long way. I bought a book on it a few years ago and felt like it was too niche. Now there's even a web framework that do crazy regress per seconds compared to GoLang. Dude, Rust has come a long way. Absolutely a long way. Lane, I've yelled at you before. Lane, I told you we don't attack chatters here. I don't care if you're being sarcastic or joking around. You're just being unnecessarily combative. So you gotta calm that down, all right? I don't mind having you here, but you gotta relax if you're gonna be chilling in this chat. I appreciate that you love me. What a nice thing to say, but you gotta relax a little bit here. How do you check if error is an instance of something? Like, oh my god. Error.kind. I'm also not sharing my stream. There's a .kind and there's all sorts of stuff here. Do we have like entry? What is enoent? Oh, raw OS error. This might be what we need. Error.kind. IO error kind. Okay. Let's do this. You have a ton of patience for not muting this guy. I like to allow people to hang out if they can behave, but if they can't behave, Lane, if you don't behave, you're getting kicked. I don't know, just saving the world, more Rust dabs, more femboys. What's the next video? How to use Arch. Lane, you're done. You're done, Lane. You're being kicked. I'm putting you in timeout. You're going in timeout for 10 minutes. When you come back, you're going to be normal, okay? I'm going to normalize you. You're being normaled. Yeah, we're not dealing with that. Listen, I do want people to be able to talk and hang out in the community, obviously, but there's gotta be a little bit of decorum here. And the worst part about this, bro, is like, if we had some sort of rapport, I'd be fine with it. I have friends that... I have femboy Rust friends. I'm fine with that. That's fine. The person was just being weird about it. I don't know. Oh, man. But yeah. So let's do this. We can do... Oh, we have to go look at the error kinds. Didn't I just have a thing that showed me all the error kinds? Oh, is it called error kind? 41 variants. Beautiful. Is there going to be like a no such file? Not a directory. Already exists. Not found. There we go. Okay. That should probably be exactly what we need. So now we can do something fun like this. Error E if error.kind equals standard IO error kind not found. I think we can do that. This is what I want. Just to avoid a possible race condition, we had to do all of this code. Which is fine, there's nothing wrong with it. It's just funny how much stuff had to go into it to get this to work. Oh, e.kind. There we go. Beautiful. Perfect. So now if it's not found, oh, we can... Oh, man. I found... Okay, here's a really... Ready? You guys ready for this? If it's not found, let's just return an empty array as JSON. This is not the right way to do it. But, like, that's pretty funny, though, right? Oh, man. Yeah, I think what we want here is this. Yeah. Thank you, Neo. I appreciate you laughing at that because it's like it's not the right way to do it, but like, dude, it kind of like low key feels like the right way to do it. You know what I mean? Oh man. This is the kind of content I'm craving, just coding plus fives, not vibe coding. Dude, appreciate it, yo. I love hearing that. I mean, if it works, dude, like it works. It just kind of ties us to JSON and everything. Not a big deal. Let me rewrite this. Let's do this. Here's what we'll do. There we go. Self-documenting code. Look at this. Beautiful. And then we save that as S here. I don't think we need to do that. There we go. So if we have the persistence file, then we'll try to read it. If we were able to read it, then we parse it as JSON. If the file didn't exist, then we use a blank cache. Any other error, we give a failure and we stop the program. So an error would be like e-access or something. Let me type this correctly. There we go. That is beautiful. Okay. So now that we don't have that events.json file, if we run this, we should be able to see that reading cached events in events.json, file events.json not found using empty cache, have 0 cached events. Beautiful. Beautiful. Perfect. Perfect. Beautiful. So if I look, there's no cache. Events.json is empty. Let's go ahead and create a new event. We'll say, hello, world. We've created a new event. Let's go ahead and look at the cache file. And it's there. It is there in the cache file. The ID, the created time, the host name, the CLI for the source, the level, the message, the data. Hey. That's beautiful. That's awesome. Crushed it. Absolutely crushed it there. So that's amazing. Real question, not trying to troll. Are you happy with that color scheme? I don't mind the color scheme, honestly. You're talking about this, like my default Vim thing. I've honestly just been looking at this so long, I'm used to it. So like, I don't know if I could deal with any other colors, to be honest. I like this. I think it's fine. I gotta say, my favorite thing about Rust is just how painless it is to make executables. Dude, for real, it's so easy. Pulling in crates is so easy. So yeah, dude, I completely get it. Yeah, its cargo could be clean. Absolutely. Is this a daemon? Yes. We have a daemon running in this first terminal tab over here. And then I can do things with the CLI over here that communicates over HTTP to the daemon. So yeah. Why are there so many people that come in just to ask you why you aren't using Zig? Bro, asking the real questions. Thank you. I have no idea. But thank you. I unironically appreciate that you've asked that because I do not know the answer to that question. It's kind of weird how many people ask me that. All right. What else we got going on here? Let me go on the README real quick. We don't have the event stream. We don't have the backlog. We don't have good logging. We don't have... Oh, we do have... Meh, almost. So we haven't done any of the stuff written here. But we've certainly added some new things. Let's go ahead and change some stuff. Why I'm not using Odin? Get out of here. Why no Fortran? Get out of here, guys. I don't like create as a name. I think create should be emit. It's a lot of renaming just for this. Is it even worth it? Odin is pretty cool. I've heard that. I've heard that from a lot of people. No, this actually creates because this goes in the persistent storage. That's fine. All right, there we go. There we go. All right, all right, all right, all right. What are we doing now? We have a mit, which I kind of like. So now when I'm over here, let's go ahead and run the server. We can do a mit. Hello world. Mitted event. That looks fine to me. We have a mit and we have tail, which will get the last X events. I do want tail minus F to follow. So let's go ahead, maybe wire that up. Yeah. Yeah, maybe wire that up. Have you ever considered doing Vim shorts, sort of like your bash shorts, just bite size? Well, a lot of my bash shorts are actually just taken from my bash course. So I think I would make a Vim course first, and then cut all those up into shorts. So if you're coming across my bash shorts, like I upload one every 2 days for the next foreseeable future, they're all taken from my bash course, the long form 7-hour video. What's your opinion on dynamic dispatch? I think it's super cool in Rust, honestly. I think it's really, really cool. Obviously, there's a performance penalty for it, but like Rust is so fast, it almost feels like there isn't one. Are you allowed to put a space after -- for all get up style commands or just cargo? This just tells it. This tells the option parser that cargo uses to stop parsing options and then pass all this as an option directly to the program. And I believe cargo is using clap the same way that my program is. So very get op style in that respect. Not sure if exactly if that's what you're asking. Oh, the events.json is checked in. I didn't realize that. That's funny. I guess we could do the, you know what we should do? Let's make this an option. The URL. Let's make the URL an option. And then we can figure out a way to do it better. But for now, let's go ahead and make the URL an option and make it available as environment variable. So we can do this. There we go. So we can just pull that out immediately. I think this will work. Let's see if I get this right on the first try. Nice, beautiful. So then we can just construct the URL like this. There's going to be a better way to do this, but for now, we'll have to use a builder, but for now we can do this. Let URL equals format. There we go. Nice. So that works. And then from here, there should be a dash URL. We could set this to like localhost 8080 or something, 8081. And then tail, and this should break because we should get URL scheme not allowed. This should get connection refused. Cool. Beautiful. Awesome. Changes to 3000 and it works. Perfect. Awesome. Amazing. All right. Nice. Making good progress here. Oh, man. What did your day job look like before you resigned? Which languages? Was it web or systems? Systems, backend stuff, dealing with freshly racked servers in a bunch of different data centers. Primarily Rust, but we definitely dealt with some legacy code that was written in Perl and Bash and Python, and it was all over the place. But going forward, the company was doing a lot of Rust. So it was cool stuff. It was fun stuff. It's just, I had to run my course there. I was wanting to take some time off and put more effort into the content thing. So yeah, I was 100% rage baited by a channel name, You Suck at Programming. And I was like, no, I do not. That's awesome. Yo, what's up, everyone? My name's Dave and You Suck at Programming. Today, we're going to see if Lane over in the YouTube chat can be normal. Okay. You're normal now. I've been learning Rust for about 2 days, coming from learning Golang. The only thing I hate about the syntax, besides that I can see why people like it so much, is enjoyable. You hate the syntax? Dude, it takes a while to get used to it. For me, it was the concept of ownership and the borrow checker that really, really just... I had to really unlearn a whole bunch of stuff. Because in my brain, I'm like, it's my memory. I should be able to access my memory anywhere. And it turns out Rust actually does let you do that. You just have to put the keyword unsafe in a bunch of different places. I'm using an external keyboard. I'm on a studio. I'm on a Mac studio setup. Hi, Dave. Thanks for all you do. What do you recommend, C or Rust for kernel programming? Kernel programming? C. Absolutely C. I mean, like, Rust is cool and stuff, and if you want to learn kernel programming in Rust, then go do that. But, like, if you just want to learn kernel programming without specifying language, C is the language I would just think of. Yeah, lifetimes are tough. Lifetimes are weird. Dude, okay, so yeah, you understand this. Pretty simple once you figure them out. Here's the thing about lifetimes. Because you can not put them in, you can just completely ignore lifetimes in a lot of signatures now, and the compiler figures out what you're trying to do. The borrow checker knows like where those lifetimes go and stuff. Like, it makes it seem deceptively simple. If you had to explicitly put the lifetimes in everywhere you'd use them, I think it would help people. It'd be a hurdle in the short term, but in the long term, you would kind of understand things a little bit better. Like, where did I do it? Like, here, where I just did this ampersand stir here. Like, if I were to have to do this, like, I would be thinking about things way differently here. Because then when I would actually go and like send this in, I have to think about like, wait, where does this live? Does this URL, okay, so the lifetime specified here is also here. Does that have to live as long as this thing over in here? Like, what lives as long as what? It's cool once you understand it, but the syntax really throws people off. All right. So I think we're going to call it here for a night. I think we've made some really good progress. We didn't do anything in the README, but we made some good stuff. So we're working towards some good stuff right here. We have better caching. We have the URL has been pulled into its own argument. We have the host name, the source. We've moved structs into their own. We've basically done code cleanup today, which is pretty good. So I'll take it. Yeah, appreciate it, Random Logic. Oh man, I love that you just hang out in the streams. So yeah, let's go ahead and commit this. What is today? Day 8. Wow, I thought this would take like 1 or 2 days. I didn't think it'd be 8, but we're going real slow, honestly. I'm taking things real chill here. I was originally going to cut this up into a video, and now I'm like, we're kind of just hanging out in stream, so that's fine. I'll make a video talking about this project, but like, if you want to see me build it really slowly over time, this is the way to do it. So yeah, I'm going to call it here. Thank you everyone for watching. I appreciate it. Hope you all enjoyed the stream. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, all that fun stuff. And yeah, that's all I got for you. So appreciate you guys tuning in. Hope you had fun. And I'm going to call it here. And I guess, you know what? Before I call it, should we raid someone on Twitch? Because I'm supposed to be raiding people on Twitch, and I'm very, very bad at doing that. So that's probably something I should start doing, right? I feel like that's a good thing to do. So if people want to jump off, especially on the YouTube side, I totally understand. But we should probably go figure out how to actually raid people on Twitch. I feel like that'd be a good thing to do. How do you do that? I should get better at this. I don't have any friends streaming right now, so I can't even like just quickly jump over there. How about this person? Top of the list on the software thing. Their name's Boolean, day 12 working on a side project. And they've tagged it as no AI and family friendly, and they're making pixel art. That sounds really cute. Let's go ahead and raid this person. They sound fun. So let me figure out how to do that, guys. But yeah, thank you for tuning in, guys. I appreciate it. If you're here on Twitch, we're going to go raid this user over here. I think that'll be a lot of fun. And we'll figure out how to do that. God, I'm so bad at this. I can't believe you guys watch me stream. Like, I'm literally so bad at this. And yeah, that's it from me. So, see you guys. Have a good night. Take care, everyone.